Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of ELEX. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you're sure to join me today here next to that terrible place over there. But we're gonna kill that thing over there. It's not gonna be terrible, not gonna be hard, it's gonna be alright. It's gonna be fine. Okay, let's equip this instead because I'm thinking I'm running out of arrows, and bolts are easy to get. Well, bolts are less expensive, that's what I mean. And not necessarily easier to get. Okay. That rat is gone. Okay. Now we need to go over there because, actually, what is it? What is it because of? There's Thieves' Hiding Place. Cindy gave me the coordinates of a Thieves' Hiding spot. There could be something there worth taking. Apparently there are 7 large bags worth of ELEX. And that's good. That's something worth taking. Let's see what we have. I really didn't need to kill this little guy. Sorry. You're a mass rat. Not really sure what that means. What is it massive about it? What's I don't really know what that is. Or maybe it's a rat that takes place that it just has a job at mass, that does mass every once in a while. I don't know. Anyway. I think I might be bypassing some stuff here. Oh. Now that's Ooh, okay. I'm gonna assume that person over there is friendly. There's the seagulls. Hello. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Hi. Oh. They're friendly. Hi, guys.
Oh, we got a nice catch here. Nice. Fresh meat, and it got a fair amount on you.
Thank you.
Boy, you're gonna cook up nicely.
Thank you.
Cook? Oh, yes, we'll do you justice. A few sprigs of scragweed and some cogroot. Oh, and you'll be just right for us. I'll get you.
Well, it turns out that he wasn't alone, and he wasn't friendly. Ouch. That was nasty. That was pretty nasty. Let me see what I can do. Probably nothing. Okay. Take a potion. Okay. Okay, missing is not a good idea. I need to see if they're skull enemies or not. I don't think they are. Okay, I hit him. I hit him again. Hit him again. Ah, come on. Not that time. Okay. No, they're not skull enemies. In the head. In the leg. The Hungry Desert, apparently. 2 out of 4. Oh, man. I hate this. I hate this so much. So much. It's not like I crash my game every time or something. Like, some games when you crash, it doesn't record, it doesn't save the options. But no, it's just, that one just resets. It hates me. It hates me. Okay. There's a person over there.
Off we go.
Off we go. Okay. That's bad. Okay. Ouch. That's bad. Why did he... Come on! Use the freaking jetpack, you idiot. That's what I wanted to do. I was trying to jetpack up, but I couldn't. Okay, get that up there. Keep eating some meat. There we go. Hi. It's a shame I'm not gonna be able to get you bolts. Can you stop? In between the legs! Okay, he's dead. And now I'm about to beat it as well. Okay. I think the other guy's not gonna bother me. I did get some ELEX and a hand grenade. Must remember that I'm pretty good at them, and I had them over there. I have them over there on the 6th slot. Oh, that was bad. That's pretty bad. Okay. No. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna die anyway. Okay, let's try this again. Get the meat up. Yeah, it's just really tricky to approach. Ouch. Oh, come on, I wasn't paying attention. Dang it, how many shots did I take? Okay. Get that meat up. Okay. So I think what I should do is probably stay back here. Because they do a very good job at leading their shots. Look at that. His dance is also unappreciated. Freaking hell, that guy. Okay, we're through. We're done. Small healing herb. That's all for alchemy. I don't think I can eat that. Oh, there's a person in here. Hey. Well, his friend. I think. That was surprisingly easy. Good, good, good. I'm leveling up. I'm getting better at this. Hey, man. Jack? I'll take the bone and the fine dining fork. 2 forks. And the raw meat. And a small healing potion. Man, there's so much junk in there. Okay.
Just give me a minute to calm down, will you? Calming. Calming.
What?
Shit. A moment longer and those cannibals would have had me over the fire.
Oh, yeah.
There's enough creatures out here trying to eat me without people trying it as well. Shit, shit. That's not something I want to go through again. Hell. You've not got anything to drink, have you? Something to help a man get his head screwed back on?
I do. I have a lot of stuff on me.
Here. This should help.
That's good. There's something about a near-death experience that makes everything taste golden. You saved me. I mean, you saved my life.
Jack likes that.
And I've learned a lot about Magaland's history. But cannibals? I haven't heard of anything like that since the dark days after the comet hit. Most of what we live on in Tavar is from the past. So history is profitable. Interesting, too. You should learn it.
Sure.
What are you doing out here?
The light beacon. I've always been fascinated by them. They used to be a cry for help, or a way to give help, direction, guidance. I've seen leaders come and go in the fort, and there's only one constant. You have to rely on yourself. So, I look for ruins, visit the beacons, and I find things to earn shards, so I don't need anyone else.
Brave for someone at your age.
My age? Age is bullshit. Wrinkled or smooth-skinned, life throws the same shit at you.
Yeah.
I know these
Say
lands
the young
better than
dudes.
to come alone. I was traveling with a pair of scrap collectors. They needed a lead. I needed some help. On our way there, we got ambushed by a group of clerics. I didn't want a chance to fight with them. They were much better armed. So I got out of there.
What happened to the scrap collectors?
They didn't make the same choice. That's the problem with some people of their age. They think every fight is winnable. They think running away is the wrong thing to do. Yet, here I am at my age. I just wish I'd had their legs for running. The clerics caught up with me and took me prisoner. I'm here, aren't I? I waited until it was dark and I got out. I guess they thought I was too old to guard. And I got away with their leader's weapon. I think that must have made them angry. Now those clerics are out hunting for me. You can hear their horns. That's why I thought I'd head for the beacon. Get some scrap, and get myself back to Tavar. Shards would mean safety. But you know what happened next? Damn Reavers.
Yeah.
Life sure is cheap out here.
Reavers are as well, I suppose.
Tell me about Magellan's past.
Gladly. What would you like to know?
Tell me about Tavar.
Well, it might not seem like there's a lot of history here, but this place hasn't always been desert. When the comet hit, it turned this place into the wasteland you see. But not everything was destroyed. Some building complexes, like the fort, survived. Others were buried. When the sand shifts, other buildings appear. And then all the things that were left in them are there for the taking. Not that everything that's buried is good. Logan, the Duke as he's known today, they're sitting on a powder keg.
I know.
Back before the comet hit, they stored weapons there. Serious, end-of-the-world weapons. And they're still there, somewhere, along with a whole stack of the usual kind.
What kind of weapons?
I know the history, not the science. I'm no cleric. But these things were supposed to destroy cities. They were supposed to destroy countries.
How could they do that?
I don't know. Big explosions. Big explosions. And the fort is sitting on top of them. That's why I want shards. I want to be a long way from here if those things ever go off.
Tell me about the factions.
Well, they're recent history. I mean, they only came about after the comet hit. Before that, there were countries and governments. Millions of people organized into groups. Nothing like now. But the comet destroyed all that. There aren't really records from after the comet hit. No one was writing things down. They were just trying to survive. No leaders. All the things they relied on to survive had gone. But it didn't take long for people to form groups to get resources. And it didn't take long for those people to start fighting. All factions think they've got ways to save us. They're all just ways people are trying to survive.
So, there are a lot of gaps in your knowledge of history?
Well, some. There were more records kept during the territory wars. That was once the factions had formed and started fighting each other. I guess as soon as you're a group, you want to start keeping a history of who you are. History becomes more important. Anyway, instead of fighting over 1 or 2 tins, the factions started fighting over land. ELEX. Resources. Any small factions that were left got absorbed or destroyed. I mean, these people were survivors, so you'd think that's what they'd want. To survive. Instead, there were yet more deaths. There aren't numbers, but I'd guess at least half of those still alive were killed. But that's just a guess. Finally, the people in charge realized the cost was too high, so they formed a council, the Great Council of Magellan, and made a non-aggression treaty.
I think the person who wrote this guide doesn't exactly know what the word history means. History with a capital H, I don't know if there's a distinction in English actually between the capital H and the lowercase, but it can have 2 meanings basically. So history in the sense, oh, do you know history? That has a different meaning to the word that you use when you say, do you know our history? When he says, as soon as you become a group, you start caring about your history, that's a redundancy. When you say, the problem is, as soon as you become a group, where you start to care about our history, what happens if you're not a group? You're a single person, or a couple of people, or a family. You still care about your history, but it's just not the same history that you'd have as if you're a group. So you don't write about when you become a group, you don't write about the family's history, you write about the group's history. So you always care about your history. The problem is history means, when you say, do you know history, it means written record. There's no history to a people that doesn't write stuff down. So they don't have history. Technically, they're prehistoric. That's how it works, basically. So I know there's a shortcoming to that distinction. You can say, like, I don't know, I don't know. I don't actually know if I haven't read in a while about modern day tribes and stuff that don't write stuff down. A lot of them do write. The vast majority do, so I'm not sure if there's any that don't write down. But technically, but when I say technically, I mean by our traditional definition of prehistory, a modern day tribe that doesn't write down things, they are in prehistory. they're prehistoric. So they technically are actually proto-history because somebody else writes about them. But anyway, that's beside the point. What I really wanted to touch on, though, here is how interesting his perspective is of what's going on in the modern day. When he talks about history, he really talks about after the comet. And that's really interesting because you don't have that perspective. But like I asked about Tavar, and it's just that's new history, or that's modern day, or whatever. And to regard that as history is actually something that not a whole lot of historians do. To the point where, like, if you go back 50 years, history would always be regarded as just old stuff. New stuff is just news. It's just, whatever is new. And I think that started to change back in the 90s and 80s. And of course, it started to, among the scholars, and then started to bleed down to, education and all that, to the point where kids these days, when they learn about history, they learn about modern history as well, and as things as recent as the economic recession of the 21st century, and the economic expansion of China, and the war on terror, and all of that is very, very important to see in an historical context. So that's when he says you should learn about history. That's very true. Although he came at it with a completely different perspective than mine. But that's very true because when you see something happen, like in front of you, even if it is somebody getting mugged or a couple of friends having a chat, you can take an historical perspective to that. And of course, that becomes that much more important when we're talking about global events like drought or war or economic crisis or government overthrow. All of that, if you look at it with an historical context, you're basically going to be looking at it properly. There's no other way. You can look at it from the inside or from the outside, but you're always going to be limited. You need to look at it with an historical context, and that's the proper way. For me, I think I don't really know of any other way that is better than an historical perspective on things. But yeah, going back to the game here, it's interesting that they made a non-aggression treaty.
A non-aggression treaty? That doesn't seem to have worked.
Well, peace is always fragile. The Berserkers and Clerics have totally different ideas about ELEX and technology, for a start. But, after all the deaths, the factions knew they risked their own destruction if they fought anymore. So, the peace lasted, more or less. There are always some hotheads, some isolated clashes over resources. But the leaders brought their people back into line. All the factions rebuilt their lands, worked on their own rules.
So, what went wrong?
The Alps. They were just a small splinter group. They went up into Zakor, into the ice, and no groups were interested in that land. They built their strength, and then they invaded. The factions were taken completely by surprise. The Alps captured people, land, built their converters before the factions could respond. What happened to the prisoners, the dead? History doesn't speak of that.
I've heard enough.
At least you did listen. That's not always the case today.
Back when he was a kid, I'm sure people listened to him a lot. Now that he's old, nobody listens. Sure.
What do you know about the Berserkers?
They were a group living up in the woods, trying to grow their own food, and they evolved from there. Everyone else was fighting for what was left, but they decided to make something new. It was some guy called Amric that started them. The new guy they have there, Thorold, the Pilgrim, sees himself as some sort of spiritual successor to Amric. He has changed things there. They're pushing out into the world more than they did. The Berserkers used to stay in Edan mostly. They'd fight to protect their borders, make assaults outside them, and then pull back. Now they're holding ground. It seems the Pilgrim wants to purify all of Edan. They're gonna use their world hearts to change the world. They want to use their magic to turn the clock back and make Magaland what it was. Well, they'll change it. But whether Magaland was ever like they say, that's just a fantasy.
Whether it ever was... What? How is that? What What is a fantasy? The question of whether or not it ever was, like they say? Yeah, what they say, yeah, I understand that. Actually, that's the perspective of the game. But anyway, interesting that he says, oh, Amrek, oh, wait a minute, what's the other one? Anyway, the one guy is the spirit, he fancies himself the spiritual successor to the other one. Is he not their leader? Because it's like saying, oh yeah, you know, George W. Bush was the spiritual successor to Bill Clinton. No, he was the literal successor. I mean, if he fancied himself the spiritual successor, then it just means that he wants to continue his policies. I don't remember if it's the case with Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, but you know what I mean? They're still the leaders, I think. Anyway, because he said the new guy they have there, but whatever.
How much do you know about the clerics?
Secretive lot.
Yeah.
They probably know more about history than the others, but they keep it to themselves. But this god they believe in, Kalan, I haven't seen anything anywhere about this god in records from before the comet hit. Why they've created a god and worship technology? Well, I can't understand it. Everything else they do is about knowledge and fact and observation. So why invent a lot of hocus pocus to go with it?
That doesn't add up, dude. That doesn't add up. How about if they found the god? Because, you know, that doesn't necessarily have to mean that they created the god or invented hocus pocus, because that's actually two different things. I mean, if the god exists, which I'm pretty sure it does, I mean, considering that it's a game, I'm pretty sure it exists. And I'm betting on an AI. I'm betting on something like Skynet or something, or, I don't know, whatever.
Why did the clerics have so few men?
Because the rest are
The
elves.
wars.
Oh.
They put their faith in their fighting machines. But either their prayers weren't answered or they had a technological hitch. They went into battle with the
Technological
berserkers
hitch,
and their
that's the second time.
machines shut down. They were defeated. Heavy losses. Those left retreated into Ignadon. Anyone that didn't make it back was cut down by one faction or another. The clerics' numbers never recovered. I guess they must have fixed whatever the problem was with their fighting machines. It's never happened again.
Have they gone to war after that?
Give me the cleric's weapon.
Why should I give it to you?
What? Because I saved you? I want to do that, but it's cold.
We help each other out, right?
Well, you had a beer from me, so yeah, all right. You can have it.
Right. Right. I saved his life. Nah, but the beer really made it, though.
Is there something you need?
No, I'm okay. Don't waste your time on my old bones.
You're not old.
The only thing I'm interested in is stories. And I don't think you are the storytelling type.
No, I don't think... Apparently I'm not. He said he wasn't old.
What do you know about the elves?
Hardly anyone knows anything about them. I mean, other than about their attacks.
Yeah, we saw them.
Maybe I could tell you a story about them.
Now I am curious. Do you know why they use ELEX?
It makes them stronger, of course.
Of
Greater
course.
strength, lower levels of fatigue, reduced pain. It turns men into fighting machines, and not just physically. ELEX keeps them clear thinking. It removes the emotions that could get in the way of orders.
So it means no one can argue with orders.
It reduces the chances. That's one of the reasons elves are so successful. They operate together without question.
Not all of them. Some operate alone.
Then you've heard of the Elexitors. They rule in Zakor. They still consume ELEX, but they are given a command role.
You mean like Wardek and Kallax? Or Jax? Have you heard of them?
Yes, they are names to be feared. Though I had heard that Jax had disappeared.
So the rumors say. What else do you know about the Alps?
Of course, Jax is him, but...
That they have as good as or better knowledge of technology than the clerics. That's because you and them have something in common.
Me? What have I got in common with Alps?
An interest in history. The Elexitors, well, I don't know for sure, but they have found some fragments of old world information. They're using that knowledge.
They're interested in the old world?
No, not at all. They just want the technology. Interest is Emotional.
Want
the past
is not,
something that's
apparently.
gone. They want the future.
Interesting. Not many people seem to think about what the Alps want.
That's all I know.
That was very informative. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Mr. would-be cannibalized, who prefers beer over life, is off on his way. And also, we're out of time, so we're gonna have to be off on our way as well, for right now. I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been ELEX. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment. Like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye!